Hey crafty friends, this is Nye here. So today what we are going to do is we are going to assemble our ice cream cone box. And as you can see, I have all of my pieces here. I have them laid out, and I also have the top part of my ice cream box that kind of has all of the details to it right here, and I have them stacked up and lined up in the order for gluing. I'm also going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing. And so as we get started, I'm just going to move this one off to the side here for just a moment so that way we can focus on this. As we get started here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start with just gluing down all of the sprinkles here and just the decorative part to our cone. And the reason why we're going to do that is because it's just a lot of smaller pieces and I don't want to lose them here on my table because that will happen. All right, so like I said, I'm using the art glitter glue here, and let's get started. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the cherry here, and I'm just going to hold this piece, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right here at the back. And then I'm just going to press it down one on top of the other, and that takes care of that piece. Now I've got my sprinkles here. I'm just going to push these off, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add them, or just add a little bit of glue, like just a little tiny kind of bead here. And then I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to grab my push pin that I was just using to hold my glue together. And I'm just going to pick up these sprinkles and then press them down. And when you're adding the sprinkles, there's no wrong way to do it. Just press them down any way that you like. I'm going to do the same thing here with the bottom ones. And like I said, I'm just going to add some glue and then kind of press them down. Okay, so I just added kind of like maybe like a little bit of a rectangle there, and then I'm just pressing them down. And I'm kind of looking at this and thinking I might add a couple more sprinkles into the file for you, because I feel like you can never have too many sprinkles, right? Okay, so then let's glue down this part of the ice cream, the vanilla part here, or at least that's what the white is representing, is the vanilla. And so when I go to glue this down, all I'm going to do is just kind of line it up right there and then just press it down. Then I'm going to add glue now to the back of the strawberry part. And so you can kind of hear my glue. And then I'm going to press this down right on top of this part of the ice cream cone that actually has the detail to the cone. Okay, and so that's that. And then we're going to just glue the cherry down. And when you go to glue this down, again, there's no wrong way to do it. Like if you want, you could glue yours down a little bit further. I'm going to kind of glue mine a little bit to the top, but I'm also going to let it hang off just a little bit, okay? Because if you want to kind of put yours off to the side, you know, it doesn't matter. Like you can have fun with it. I'm just going to put mine kind of like in the center, but just a little bit so that way it does look like it's sitting on top, but not so much that it's seriously hanging off here, but just enough so that way like the top of it's covered, and it's really just kind of like the stem there of the cherry that's hanging off. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back here of this. And then I'm going to just press it down like right about there. Okay, so you can kind of see a little bit of it is sticking up here at the top, but not much. And that's great. Okay, so now that we have all of this glued together, we won't lose any of our pieces on the table. And I'm just going to put it off to the side for now. Okay, so what we're left with are all of the kind of like brown pieces to the box of the ice cream cone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab some of these pieces here, and you want to find your score line side. And you've got the two edges that look completely identical, but they're not. You're looking for the one that has the little square at the bottom. That's going to be the part that goes to the bottom part of our box. So now we're going to look for the square on these two smaller pieces. So again, grab those and look for the square. We're going to put that together. And then we're also going to look for the square on kind of these cones. So you can see it right here. It's a little bit higher. It's not so far down into the corner here or the tip, but it's just a little bit higher there, okay? Now, these three with the squares are going to go together, but we're still left with 3 pieces of regular cones and then the 2 other edge pieces. And what you can do is you can kind of tell which ones are going to go together. Like these 2 are going to be really close together in size. So you can see that the one will lay right on top of the other. And these 2 are going to be the ones that go together. And then you can see that these 2 are going to be a little smaller and closer in size. And they are also going to lay one right on top of the other. Okay. And so you can see there will be a little bit hanging off there. All right. So those 2 will go together. So what we're going to do is we're going to push those off to the side now that we know. And we're going to grab these 4 pieces here that do not have this square. Okay. And so when you have the 2 like cone pieces together, you're going to notice that one is bigger and one is smaller, right? We just covered that. We're going to work with the bigger one first. So grab the smaller one. We're going to put that one off to the side for now. And we're going to start with the larger one. And we're also going to start with the larger side piece, okay? So we've got the score lines here, and you can see them. There's 2 tabs down here, and then we've got our side pieces and then a line in the center. All we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and fold along all of those score lines to kind of create those tabs. And so I'm just using my finger, but if you want, you can go ahead and use your bone folder to help you make sure that you're getting the right angles to these score lines here. This is a personal choice in how you want to do it. Your bone folder will help them to, you know, kind of be a little bit more, kind of like firm, I guess you could say, with the, score here, but it's really a personal choice and it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay. It's enough that with your fingers, you'll be okay. All right. So we've got these folded here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing now for this other piece. And so again, you can see the score line and I'm just going to fold the tabs right on that score line there. Okay. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to put it down. And you can go ahead and see that this is going to fold and it's going to go right there towards the bottom, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little bit of glue right along this line here, okay? I've got a good bit of glue there, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I do this right so you guys can see. I'm just going to check to make sure that these tabs are all going that way. And then I'm going to make sure that this score line here lines up right at the very bottom. And I'm just going to press it down. Okay. So I got really quiet there for a second because I wanted to make sure it was really lining up. And then I'm just pressing this down all the way till I run out of paper here. All right. And so you can see that looks really good. You can see it here on the inside. I've got a little bit of excess glue right there, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to add glue now to the other side. And so again, you can see I'm adding a good bit of glue here. I'm going to stop kind of like right about there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing now on the other side. And when you're going to add it, you just kind of want to make sure that all of the tabs are sitting right in the glue, that they're making a firm hold there, and that it's lining up right at the edge. All right. And if it takes you a couple of seconds, it's okay to hold it there just to make sure that the paper is bonding and it's going to be secure, okay? Because you definitely don't want it to come up at all. And sometimes you can just press it down on your table. You can go ahead and use your bone folder just to kind of get inside there and just make sure that it's really pressing into the glue. All right. All right. Okay, so that looks good. Once you have it there, okay, so now we've got our two little tabs, and what we're going to do is we have our other side piece. If you have a pencil nearby, you can go ahead and just take your pencil and just run it along the paper, and you can see that it will kind of break up the fibers inside the paper and make your paper kind of curl, all right? And that's what we're really going for, is because if you can tell, the top part of our cone is a curve. And so we kind of want that curl to really show up there. All right, so when you have that going, if you don't have a pencil nearby, it would work with a glue stick, or you can just go ahead and run your finger there doing that. You just want to kind of break up those fibers, like I said. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're just going to go ahead and add glue to this tab, because we're going to glue this part together. And then we're also going to glue again on this curve here. So I'm adding glue kind of part way, a good bit. And I did a good bit of glue too, because curves can be tricky. And so what we're going to do is we're going to connect these two side pieces right to the edge there. I'm going to hold it here for just, a couple seconds, giving it a chance to bond. And then we're going to glue all the way around. And when you're gluing this part down now, you really want to make sure that you are getting all the way to the edge of the paper. You don't want to go too far in. You also don't want to go too far out, because if you go too far out, you'll run out of paper when you get to the other side. And if you go too far in, then you'll have too much excess paper when you get to the other side. So it's kind of a conundrum. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add glue to the other side. And then we're also going to add glue on the tab. And then we're going to continue to press all the way around. And sometimes it's actually a little easier if you just kind of go ahead and connect the end, and then you can go back and then just press everything down there, okay? And again, just kind of hold it, give it a chance to bond there and dry. All right, and so that will take care of that piece. And it looks awesome. All right, so again, you can go in and just make sure that those are pressed down, the tabs on the inside. And now we've got this extra piece, right? So this is just gonna glue right there on the inside, and it's really just kind of meant to hide some of the tabs, so that way when we take the lid of the box off, we're not stuck with kind of like all that ugliness there. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead, add a little bit of glue once more to that side there. And then just pressing it down on the inside. And you'll see that it's kind of like a loose fit there on the inside. It's not meant to go all the way to the edge. It's kind of just meant to sit on the inside there. And it's just meant to cover up a little bit of those tabs so it's not as ugly looking. Okay, so there was a glitch in the power, so I went ahead and I was recording and then I had to take it back. So here we go, we're gonna try this again. All right, so now that we finished this one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our bottom layers here, okay? So we've got the two side pieces, and then we also have the two cone pieces. And again, when you layer them one on top of the other, you'll be able to see that the bottom one is the larger one. So we're going to put the top piece off to the side. And what we are left with now are these pieces that have the score lines on it, okay? So we're gonna basically be doing the same thing that we did with the lid. We're gonna be taking the side pieces here and we're just gonna score right on all of those score lines. And what I'm going to do is, because we've already done the lid, I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up the video here because the steps for this bottom one are going to be exactly the same as it was for the lid, okay? So in order to keep the video kind of not super long for us, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to speed up the video here, okay? But the steps are 100% exactly the same. All right, so here we go. Okay, so once you finish this piece or the bottom piece here, you'll see you can grab the top piece and it will fit perfectly right inside, and we have got our box for our ice cream cone. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to just go ahead and glue down the top part here to just kind of finish it off. Now, you don't want to add glue everywhere to the top part here because we're going to have all of these holes here that kind of give the look to the actual cone. But you can see that it's going to line up really nicely, and it's also going to hide any edges where the base of the box might have been glued, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to add glue all along kind of like the edge here of the cone. And you do kind of want to make sure that you add a little bit of glue like in the center following the lines of the cone. You don't have to go crazy with the glue. You can use any bits that's just kind of hanging there around the edge. And then you do kind of want to add a little bit here to the top, all right? Again, you don't want to go crazy adding it everywhere because some parts of it are going to hang off, all right? And then when you go to place it down, I'm going to hold my fingers here and I'm going to hold it here towards the bottom. And you're just going to line it up right on top so that way it fits. And then just press it down gently. And there we go. We've finished our box. It opens up. We've got the insides where we can't see all of the tabs. It closes beautifully, and that finishes it. So I hope you guys enjoy this fun little craft. I mean, it's cute, it's easy, and it's adorable. So please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you have fun crafting. Thanks again for watching. Bye.